What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Leave It to the Judges MMA show. I'm with the boys, Xavier and Nicholas. Guys, today is our UFC 223 preview and predictions. Guys, last pay-per-view of the year, last pay-per-view of this era. Next month is a new year, new deal, new UFC. But how do we feel about this last event to end the year? Last like non-Paramount card. Any emotions, guys, or anything?
I think we gotta send ESPN off with a banger, man. I think they're doing ESPN one last justice card. They weren't gonna get out this deal on some bogus shit. They were like, all right, we're gonna give you one more ESPN. You know what I mean? Um, Merab trying to make fucking history, like most, I think title defenses in a year. Piotr Jan coming back for his revenge, man. Then you got the young kid Van, got Pantoja, the kingpin of flyweight, man. Let's get into it. Let's get into it, boys.
All
Let's
right,
get
boys. Let's get into it. Let's start at the tippy top. We got a rematch. Like you said, Merab is going for the title defense record. This would be his fourth win in a year. Absolutely insane. It's a rematch. He's going up against Jan. Now, they did fight. I forgot how many years ago it was, but it was very one-sided to say the least. We'll talk about that a little more. Jan has picked up 3 wins, I believe, since then. I'm pretty sure we're all going to pick Merab, but what have you guys seen from Jan to maybe think that he could do better in this fight?
Um, I really don't know. I just think that we have to just. I think that just getting the rub of being in there with Marab, understanding like where he kind of went wrong in the first fight. Um, Maybe some defensive adjustments might help him. But in terms of what I have seen, I can't say very much because no one that he's fought is Marab. You know what I mean? No one that he's fought and beaten since fights remotely even like Marab. No one's even that wrestle heavy. Um, so basically, like Piotr Jan outstruck 3 opponents, more or less, if you want to boil it down, in his last 3 fights. And while he does have, a little momentum back on his side, at the end of the day, what plagued him in his fight with Merab, on top of the fact that Merab is an absolute fucking animal, an absolute terror to anyone in any division in terms of cardio, like damn near the cardio goat, I would even say. Um, but besides that, was the specific way that Piotr Jan defends, the way he kind of just like shells up, kind of Muay Thai esque shell defense, where he just kind of shells up. When in their first fight, you've seen that was like a kryptonite. Marab absolutely exposed that aspect of his defense because if your hands are right here, like what's protecting your legs? Absolutely nothing. And that's basically how the first fight went largely. Rob would crowd his space, force him into a defensive shell, and for to his credit, Piotr Jan's striking defense is absolutely phenomenal if it's going to be a striking fight. And we've seen that defense hold up against so many hard hitters. But at the end of the day, Marab's not really trying to hit you that much. He's going to try to take you down, beat you up on the ground. And I just think that it would behoove Piotr Jan, who in his own right has great takedown defense. Even in the first fight where he got taken down a lot by Merab, he was popping right back up, never getting controlled. And he defended a lot of the takedowns. It was just Merab shot like 40 plus of them, if I remember correctly. Um, so I think Piotr Jan actually has better takedown defense than most of the bantamweight division. I think he is one of the I don't want to say favorites, that doesn't make sense, but he is one of the only fighters that I think even will remotely have a chance to defend some takedowns against Merab. Um, we know he can hit. We know that Merab does not have the best chin. So I just think it would be a little smart if he sacrificed getting punched a couple times extra, maybe to focus a little bit more on defending some of these takedowns. Like keep your hands a little lower. You might get punched a little bit, but Merab, like traditionally at least, hasn't been putting people down with his hands. So I just think if I'm Piotr Jan, it would be smarter to focus more on defending takedowns than defending strikes. Um, but beyond that, I just don't know if there's enough of a gap he could bridge, to be honest, based on how that first fight went. I do expect the fight to look a little bit more competitive than the first one, but I still expect that Merab was gonna do what Merab does and just like, run over him kind of like in the cardio and takedown departments.
What Jan needs to do early in this fight, go for the leg kick, body kicks. Um, you gotta chop him down early, or else I really don't see this going well for Jan. I think Marab's way better than the first fight, complete different fighter. Takedown wise, I think Jan is a little more. I'd say he's a better wrestler than Sandhagen. Take actual takedown defense though. I think Sandhagen is a little better getting back up to his feet from what I remember. And I just honestly, if Umar and Jan were to fight, I think Umar would whoop his ass, to be honest. And so I feel like the only way I see Jan winning this fight, if one keeps it on the feet, he is losing a ground battle in this fight. Even if he's improved a little bit, he is losing this ground battle. Two, don't get stuck on the cage. I need to see Jan moving around, just chop at the legs and the body. Do not stay in one place. Because if he's just gonna scrap with Merab's just gonna throw some good, and he's gotten better in the striking too. So he could even, I think, crack Jan a little bit, and like he'll just set up the takedowns all day. Jan, I think, has to fight a point fight kind of style in this fight to win, and I don't see it, man. I never had faith in Jan, to be honest, ever since he lost that belt and lost to O'Malley. Like he fought Song Yadong and barely won that fight. Like a last 30-second takedown got him the dub.
Was he not on O'Malley's ass, Clark? Was he not on O'Malley's ass? Did he damn near not win that fight for real? Let's be real about it,
Well,
bro.
he probably did, but I'm just saying it
Come
it didn't
on.
occur on the scorecard. Next, I actually rewatched that fight, and honestly, it was a lot closer than I. I went into that expecting to see Jan win, and honestly, watching it back, I do think it's a lot closer than what I remember.
It was close. I mean, I remember thinking like, oh, there's an argument. Like, it wasn't like the biggest robbery I've ever seen. I just thought that like, if you were to make a case that Piotr Jan won that, I think you could do so very easily.
Yeah, look, I'm just saying, he fought Song Yadong, barely won that fight off a last 30-second takedown. Figueiredo, just not the same guy. And who'd he fight? I like a good Marcus McGee, but it's just not it's just to jump from those three to Marab, just it doesn't feel like he's winning this one. I wish he would have fought O'Malley again or Sandhagen to at least see like or Umar against the top five specifically. I feel like he's just going in there like I guess Song's a top five guy. I'll give him that kind of, but
Yeah.
it's not going well for him. That's all I gotta say. It ain't going well.
Jan's definitely one of the more glazed guys in the community, which I get it. He's got a cool personality, but like I feel like on the channel here we don't have that same affection for him. We keep it a little more real. Like you said, Nick, to build off your point, yeah, he had those three wins, but I didn't see anything in there to think that he could beat Merab. And ever since their first fight, Merab has fought 5 times. And listen to this. He's fought Henry, O'Malley, Umar, O'Malley again, then Corey, and now he's fighting Jan again. It's just I don't know. I think Jan needs to just try to fucking knock him out. I know it's really unrealistic, but
No,
like,
that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say I kind of disagree with Clark on the point fighting thing. I don't think there's a chance he's just gonna have less output and just kind of like stick and move, stick a jab at like The only way I see him even having a chance in this fight is either by finish somehow, catching Merab with something, or just like selling out when he's on the feet offensively and understanding like yeah I'm gonna be taken down, but it could be one of those situations where like if you get enough damage off before that he gets the takedown, Merab does not do the most damage when with his takedowns. So like especially with like Piotr Jan, who I think is pretty hard to hold down on the ground, especially for Merab, who's like not traditionally great at holding people down other than like O'Malley because he's like really skinny and lanky kind of. But in general, I just kind of feel like there is a world where like it's again like I don't think this is gonna happen at all. But I'm just saying like in terms of best paths for Piotr Jan, if I'm his coach, there is a world where like Piotr Jan can put his boxing combinations together really well. He could like let's say he like has a moment in every round where he kind of like stings Merab decent or like rocks him a little bit, but then Merab starts, doing what he does, but doesn't get enough damage off. Like at least some judges might be like, some of these rounds are close. You know what I mean? So I just think that like his best path is like when he's on the feet. You see it all the time with people fighting dangerous wrestlers. It's like they become so petrified of the takedown, they don't throw their offense. And then it kind of like makes it so like damn, like even if you didn't take that much damage, you didn't throw that much when you were on the feet because you were scared. And now, you know what I mean? Like, how different, like, I hate to even bring this up, but how different would the DDP fight have been judged if, like, when they were on the feet, DDP was landing some good body shots, maybe hitting Hamzat a couple times, like, and then Hamzat takes him down and kind of just holds him for like, 2 minutes. But you know what I mean? Like when you're on the feet as the person who keeps getting taken down, you have to just kind of like say fuck it and like be more of an offensive threat. And I think that that would be like maybe you get a cut on Merab, like, and then I don't know, like you gotta just throw, man. You gotta just throw. I want to see Piotr Jan throwing when he's on the feet. I don't
Yeah.
think
That
I don't think he's gonna do much, but you gotta try something.
I get that. What I mean by point, just chop them down. Like chop them down to start the fight, and then you can build your way in with the strikes. I just feel like going for broke in the beginning. If DDP did that versus Hamza, let me tell you, it would have been the same thing.
Stop it.
So, okay, my whole thing is I feel like a lot like the DDP Hamza fight. I mean, DDP was trying to strike with him. And Hamza just shot under and got the takedown easily. I feel like when Jan almost is in his striking mood and pattern, the man's always covering his hands like all the way up here. I always see it. And I just feel like if he's rushing and he's doing a combo and then backs up for 2 seconds going like that, he's just going to get taken down easily. So I feel like if he starts the fight a little safer, just chop at the legs, chop at the body, I think those will be there. Merab also keeps his hands pretty high for the most part when he's striking. I think he'll have more success. I think he'll do better than the first fight. I will say that. I think he'll do better. But like maybe he'll win the first round off just, Merab not being active enough yet. But the rest of the fight's just not gonna go well. So I think fighting style at least gives him an opportunity. Where I feel like if he just goes for the KO the whole time, at this point, I think Merab Shin has proven itself enough, and I don't know if Jan can get him out of there. Maybe he can stun him a little bit, but I don't know.
No, for
Um, one more thing on this fight, guys. I feel like for any other fighter, we would be concerned. This is Marab's fourth fight, title fight, fourth camp, and all of that in general. Are we worried at all about that? Is that playing at all for this?
no.
Okay, just because it's like
I think he's a fucking freak, bro. I just think he's a freak. I think that even if he were having some little nagging injuries, it's either enough to where he can't fight or he can. You know what I mean? If he feels like he can get in there, I think that Even if he has like something like, he's a little banged up, a little bruised, has a little boo-boo on his ribs. I don't even know. But like either way, I just think that he can, if he's himself, he has some cardio, like he's not gonna forget how to wrestle. He hasn't been taking damage in most of his fights, so it's kind of like I think he's fine, bro. I think he's gonna run over Jan, to be honest.
Yeah. I honestly think he could fight every month, so I'm not the cardio is just too good. He's not taking big damage in these fights. He could fight every month, honestly. I mean, basically he's fighting every other month. So, I mean, yeah, no concerns. I mean, he is getting older though. I guess that's the only thing can happen to anybody. Father Time's still undefeated, but outside of that, I mean, the way he's fighting right now in this year specifically, yeah, no concern.
Alrighty, guys. Let's move on then to the co-main event. We got another title fight at 125. Joshua Van versus Alejandro Pantoja. Young versus old.
Ugh.
Like the new generation versus the old guard. I feel like there's a lot at stake at here. I feel like this fight isn't getting built up a lot. I know we all don't agree. I mean, I feel like we all agree on this. Pantoja isn't at DJ's levels yet, but he's chasing him, and a win over Van, I feel like would be super impressive, especially because his other wins haven't aged the best. And for Van, he'd be what, the second youngest champion of all time?
Yep. Second youngest, 24.
He
At
will be.
24.
He will be.
He
He
will
will.
be. Well, I'll just get us started. I do think Joshua Van will be UFC flyweight champion, but it will not be this Saturday. He will get the belt one day, but I think it's just too early type shit for him. I think Pantoja's on a roll. I understand he's aging, but I've seen no signs of him slowing down. He's never been finished. He looks in phenomenal shape. He's chasing DJ's legacy. He acknowledged that. I love that. And I'll get into the X's and O's after you guys give your case for Van.
Um, yeah, I think that Pantoja's run has been nothing short of amazing, man. I want to give him his flowers because I mean, like, when you're the guy for this long and you constantly have people coming at you and you constantly, you know, defend that challenge every time, I mean, it's really impressive. He's been dominating his division since what, 2021? His last fight was in 2020, so since 2021, that's like 5 years of dominance, reigning over these flyweights. With everyone basically, a target on his back. When you're the champion for that long, you have a target on your back. And at a weight division where punching power does not really come into effect as often because they're like so light. Um, well, I'm gonna take that back. I'm not gonna say punching power doesn't come into a factor. It just rarely are these fights like ending because of one shot KO power or ending quickly is my point. Like all of these are scraps. Like you're scrapping for damn near until you finish a guy damn near on the ground or like scrapping to decisions. You know what I mean? Like these are wars that Pantoja's been going through. And he's been, tested a lot. There's been a lot of vulnerable moments I've seen like here or there in his reign, but he always, gets that takedown or, you know, digs deep and he looks like he doesn't have cardio going into the fourth, but then he does. You know what I mean? And we've seen time and time again him just find a way. But so I'll give him that. But at the end of the day, like I just said, there are moments of vulnerability in almost all of his title wins. He's not the most unhittable on the feet, and his cardio does get suspect. And as what is he, 36, 37, 37 now? As an aging fighter coming up against a young, hungry lion in Joshua Van, who I have never seen this man, Van, breathing hard even, despite like how much of a pace he puts on his opponents. Um, I just have to wonder, like, I can't assume that Pantoja's cardio is going to get better as he ages. And I do think that the punching power of Joshua Van and all around game of Joshua Van is gonna get better as he ages because he's only 24. He's not even near his prime yet. And so like when I factor those two things together, I just have a fight where like would it surprise me if Pantoja, you know, took and held Van down or somehow took Van down and found a third round submission somewhere in there on an inexperienced Van because he's bigger and Van's a little undersized. Sure, like it wouldn't surprise me that much at all, but like also like you have to think like damn like Van's trying to make history here himself. And I just think the hunger of Van, the cardio of Van, I just think if he can stuff a timely takedown, I don't think that Pantoja is going to spam takedowns the whole fucking fight. And I think that Pantoja relies on moments where he gets those timely takedowns. And if he's just not able to get one in the middle of a Van Blitz and he can't recover his cardio, can't like take, 2 minutes on top of top control to going into the next round, regain some cardio back. I could just see it like, Van start to pull away from him on the strike numbers down the stretch. I think that early on the fight looks very competitive. I can see them splitting the first two rounds. Pantoja might even win round three even, but I think after that, I think that there is going to be a point that if Van can stick around long enough, Pantoja will start to breathe heavy. And Van will pick it up. And I think that down the stretch of rounds 4 and 5, like I do think Van will kind of like overwhelm him. And if he can overwhelm him in rounds 4 and 5, all he has to do is win one of the first three, and that is the path I see. Give me Van by either split or unanimous decision, but I will say Van 3 rounds to 2.
I agree. I mean, look, no matter what, I think this is going to be an incredible fight. I actually think this might be I might be overhyping it, but one of the greatest title fights in flyweight history. I do believe that. I think it'll just be an absolute war. I think both guys are going to get at it. They're going to do, I think these two are very good MMA fighters. And I think they are going to get after it. There's going to be no waiting around, even though, I'll talk about a little about Van's downloader skills in a little bit. Something Pantoja doesn't have, Ed. Uh, they're going to get into it. And look, Pants, I'm not going to lie, probably will get him down at least once. But in that one fight versus Ray Tesura, I believe I don't want to butcher it, but Ray, when he fought him a few months ago, and by the way, it so happens Van is fighting for the fifth time as well, the same night as Merab, Like, or is it five Merab? I don't even know. But it's written in the stars, baby. It's written in the stars out here. And in that fight, got taken down 4 times for a combination, by the way, of 21 seconds of control time with those four takedowns. Who I might need to review this because if they were 21 seconds, I don't know how much of a damn takedown that really is. But 4 out of 21, and Ray was just shooting relentlessly. And I know Pantoja is definitely a lot higher of a level, but Van's get back up ability is very good. Like it just is. And for the most part, he's been stuffing guys. He has a little offensive wrestling in his bag too in these fights. I have seen him do it. Lately, he's been more on the feet, but I think Van can handle himself down there better than most people. And he's young, man. This dude's gonna be full of testosterone in that shit and like fighting like an animal. Like this is going to be a war. And I just feel like I will take the younger guy who looks like a special fighter, who I know has a 5 round gas tank, he might be able to go 10 rounds, Ed. He might be able to go 10 rounds. Can Pants last that long? Hell nah. And my whole thing is, look, I think Pants is more likely to get a finish in this fight out of the two for sure. And
I
that is
agree.
and that is either way. I do think Pants probably has a slight power edge on the feet just because he's a little more muscular and bigger.
And older, grown man strength. He's a father.
Yeah. But Van, the confidence just seems there right now. And this ability to download information, and it looks like you're beating them. And he lures you into them, and then boom, boom, boom. And then you just get pieced up in like a six-piece combo. And it's just like, what the fuck? And then he comes back at you right away. Like, Van just seems so different to me than anybody Pantoja's fought. We can get into the schedule, by the way, of Kaya Sakura, Steve Erceg. I mean, Kai Kara France. Like, these guys to me just don't even seem close to Josh Van's level whatsoever. And then he also beat Roy Vell. So Van's got the young gun in the bag. He's going to be once in a while, these John Jones type of fighters come along, Ed. You just got to accept these kind of things. You got to accept them.
I think those guys that you named, they may have not aged the best, those title defenses, but I think those guys give Joshua Van a lot more of a problem than you're saying, for sure. I don't think he runs over any of those guys. Who has Josh Van been running over? He's not running over those guys. I don't think.
I mean,
And go
he's
ahead.
beating all these guys convincingly, though. Like, that's part of his game. He downloads. Like, he's more likely to lose a first round probably every time he goes fights out there.
I think there's a world where Josh Van can outlast Pantoja and just be more impressive and land the more eventful combinations on the feet over 5 rounds. I don't think he can finish Pantoja. Pantoja's never been finished. He's like 35 or whatever. I'm not picking anyone to finish him until I see it. But Xavier kind of took the words out of my mouth. Dude, Van is kind of small for this division. And I think the grappling is going to be a much bigger of a problem than you're talking about, Clark. I know you said that like Pantoja is better than the Japanese guy and the takedown time wasn't there, but bro, you said it yourself. There are levels, man. Josh Van is not just going to be able to pop up from multiple takedowns from Pantoja. He's going to tangle you up down there and smother your ass
He's gonna be able to get back up.
from a couple, but then he's going to be stuck on the floor for a long time and be threatened with a lot of submissions.
Like, you just think he's taking him down the whole fight, and we're gonna bore up this world title fight.
No, but I think he will get takedowns and it's not going to be boring, bro. It's not going to be like boring wrestling.
I think that that is the fight. You guys just both hit the nail on the head. I think that what I'm choosing to believe here, like I would not be surprised if like he did get blanketed like for at least three of these rounds and then, boom, like that's the decision right there at least. But I will say this. I'm banking that like Pantoja's not gonna choose to just be a mungy grappler the whole time. I'm banking that he's going to fight some of this fight on the feet and trust that he can just wrestle when he wants. And I think that there will be a round where, he gets a lot of top control. But my thing is like when they get back up, who's gonna be fresher? And I still believe that that will be Van. And I think that there will be a moment where on the feet it just starts to just not go Pantoja's way up for a couple minutes. And he decides like, okay, I'm gonna want to get this takedown now. And I think that in that moment, if Van can stay on his feet and avoid that timely takedown that always aids Pantoja in all of his, or damn near all of his title fights, if Van can like, because he has more cardio at that one particular moment, if he can avoid the takedown and just keep putting it on Pantoja in a gas moment, I think it could be bad news bears. I think he could sap the rest of whatever Pantoja has left, and then kind of like roll him downhill. You know what I mean? The rest of the fight, but like again, like I do think that Van is the underdog in this fight for a reason. I just believe in the kid.
Anything else on this one, guys?
Oh yeah. Well, the big fight for Team Clark. If we get the dub here, we're definitely winning the fantasy league, no doubt. If Van gets
Wait,
this,
who has Merab? You?
I do as well.
Oh
Yeah.
Oh
yeah,
God.
yeah. This might be GG's.
We will do a video at the end of the year. We'll recap. We'll total all the points. Talk about that.
So,
But
So
I think I would dub it with this. So it's also why I'm going for Van for sure.
I'm for sure in last. One of you two is definitely winning. My team is trash this year, but
I think X might be slightly ahead.
we'll have a video on that though.
for sure. All right, though, guys. Let's stay at flyweight. Super close fight. Pick 'em odds here in terms of the DraftKings odds. Brandon Moreno, ranked number 2 versus number 5, Tatsuro Taira. Oh my God, I am so torn on this fight. Seems kind of like striker versus grappler. Moreno's been a staple at flyweight for years, former champ. Taira's on the come up. Had that, who'd he lose to? He had that fumble against Roy Val, but has looked impressive since. Probably, I mean, yeah, it is his biggest test in Moreno. How do you guys see this one going?
I honestly think this is when I look down this list and I'm on good old DraftKings here to see just to see what the odds are on this. Moreno being a slight dog in this plus 105, so pretty even. I thought about this several days and I am going with Brandon Moreno. Reason being, I still think Tatsu he looked really good his last time out. In that main event, it was like what's his name? The
Oh, Park.
Yeah, Park. Destroyed him, but I feel like that guy was like a last minute replacement.
He
Kind
was.
of like, he did his thing. I think Tatsu's really good. I just think like Moreno's probably on the little MMA map. I think Moreno's probably still on the same level somewhat as Royval. And let's be honest, Royval, he's a soy boy. He can't hit anything. That's why he lost to Van. He couldn't break him down because Van was feeling pillows in his face. But in this fight, I do think Moreno can have a big edge on the feet. I think Tattoo's decent there, and he's very long for the weight class. Uh, but I think Moreno will have a huge edge there, and it's a 3 round fight. As long as he stuffs the takedowns, because I do think Tatsu probably has the edge there. What if they get to the ground? I think actual wrestling wise, it's probably 50-50. But I think what jiu-jitsu grappling, I would give it to Terra. But I feel like Moreno's good enough to keep it on the feet in this fight. And I gotta believe in Moreno still. I feel like he's still a pretty good fighter, and I don't know. He's still considered, in my opinion, like a top 5 uh flyweight of all time. So I gotta still lean with him here. I think it's this was the toughest one I think on the guard though.
Yeah. This is a close fight. Brandon Moreno proved in his fight with Urseg, like he's still here, man. 5 round cardio for sure. I think he has a cardio and experience edge in high level fights. So I definitely get why, I think objectively, I would be more surprised if Tyro wins this fight. But I'm still gonna pick him, man. I'm gonna pick him just because, I think that the division does need a little bit of new life. I think that the hunger factor is definitely gonna be there more so for him than Moreno. I think Moreno has shown me in some of his fights, like he's not the same guy. I think he's a lot less focused sometimes, more focused sometimes than others. Um, I've seen him lose fights like with Roy Val that I thought that he should for sure, like on paper to me, I think he should whoop Roy Val's ass. And the fact that that fight he lost that, it definitely showed me like sometimes he's just not as locked in as I've seen him in the past. He's already been the champ. I just think that Tyra is coming in with, you know, a nation on his back, coming in here, trying to put on for his people. I think that sometimes you just need to feel the rub of losing sometimes. He lost a really close split decision with Roy Val, um, who's been, you know, doing decent of years and who most recently beat Moreno. So I just feel like Tyra, like sometimes when these fighters are on the rise like this, these prospects, and they feel, you know, that level, but you know, he didn't lose in some type of demoralizing way that's gonna discourage him. He lost in a way where it's like I'm right there with the top guys. And I think that he might just hit another level here. Sometimes you have to feel a loss to understand like where you are deficient. And I think that he is the kind of guy that is the kind of loss that like he could bounce back from even be even better. So I think that the best Tyra is yet to come, and I'm just gonna back him just on the momentum factor. I feel like of just being a prospect who still has a lot of promise for himself. I think it'll just he might show a little bit more grit in the key moments and barely etch this decision out. So I'm gonna guess Tyra, but I wouldn't like bet Tyra necessarily.
Yeah, I think you both made really good points. I'm gonna slightly lean Tyra also. I kind of like what you said there at the end. I think it'll be a very close fight, but Tyra will. I think he'll just nail one of those like takedowns to seal the fight in the third round, or one of those rounds where something's super close. He'll just have more control time. But yeah, I would not bet on this fight personally.
I might
Banger fight.
I might bet on the fucking over in this bitch. I
Yeah,
don't I think that shit goes to decision for sure.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's a good bet.
No
I'd
one's
agree.
finishing the other, I don't think.
I do maybe because the Albazi fight, I kind of like this a little more for Moreno. I don't think he's coming off that dub, but it was like his second fight
He's
ago.
coming off the Usyk dub.
Yeah,
Not feel that though.
yeah.
It's so fun.
I think it's an experience thing. I'm going
I feel
with.
that.
All right, guys, let's move on to the bantamweight division. We got number 10, Henry Cejudo versus Peyton Talbot. First of all, shout out Henry Cejudo. Apparently, this is his retirement fight. He's been saying it on the embedded. So shout out Triple C, one of the goats of the sport. But he's taking on one of the hottest prospects in the sport right now, who is almost a minus 300 favorite against Henry Cejudo, which is kind of insane. He is coming off an impressive dub over who did he just fight? Who did Talbot just fight?
Felipe Limo.
Lima, yeah. And Henry's coming off that weird fight with Song Yadong, but Triple C in the retirement fight, Peyton Talbot, the hot prospect. What are you guys seeing here?
I have no idea why they made this fight. Um,
So weird.
I like my only thought about it is like the UFC is trying to sacrifice Cejudo to Talbot to help build his name, but it's like stylistically, I don't understand why you chose Cejudo. Peyton Talbot's not even ranked, and even though like Cejudo is ranked 10, I feel like there's better matchups ranked ahead of Cejudo that like Peyton Talbot just matches up with a lot better. Um, I'm saying all of this, of course, because of what Ione Barcelos recently did to him. And while, Barcelos just beat Ricky Simone, he beat Garbrandt. So it's like it's not like he's just like, that was a flash in the pan fight. Like for some reason his old ass is hitting his stride. Someone needs to fucking test his samples a little harder, I think, but he's definitely hitting his stride. So I feel like ever since like what Barcelos has been able to do since losing to Talbot, it does kind of like I don't want to say excuse the loss for Talbot, but it does like make it age a lot better because Barcelos is actually here in the division a little bit. But with that being said, like 2 fights ago, he was just manhandled by an old man, and it's like On paper, Henry Cejudo, Olympic gold medaler, two division champ. On paper, you would just think like, is this the best matchup for Talbot? But at the end of the day, I'm still gonna choose to believe in Talbot here. He's one of my favorite up and coming fighters. I thought he was gonna whoop Barcelos' ass, so that was a shock to me. But I think that he basically just got controlled on the ground and had moments on the feet. Still showed good cardio when he got back to the feet. Still showed a will to win. He never quit on himself in there. So I think that that was one of those learning experience fights. And if he really sometimes again, like I said, so many times, sometimes an unranked, prospect, an undefeated prospect just doesn't know. You don't know what you don't know, or you don't know like a certain level exists really until you feel it. And I think that feeling that superior grappling level should have made him focus primarily on his grappling defense and grappling in general. He's still young, a lot of time to develop, and I just think that in the past couple of fights, we've seen Cejudo kind of gas out really. I think that if Cejudo had full cardio, I think he whooped Sterling's ass in his prime if he had the cardio he had when he was younger. I mean, we've seen him take Merab down in the first round of their fight just for Merab to showing that in terms of pure wrestling ability, his wrestling is still technically some of the best because he was able to hold Merab down, which who can do that really? But again, rounds 2 and 3, Merab started dog walking him in the wrestling. Why? Because of cardio. And I kind of see I could see a similar script here. I could see Cejudo kind of holding on to Talbot a lot, wearing on him early, maybe getting a takedown or two. Not really getting much damage off though. And I can kind of see where if Peyton Talbot, once he's felt, a Cejudo takedown or two, starts to understand what he's doing and then defend some timely takedowns. And I think that on the feet, Peyton Talbot is gonna work Cejudo. I think because he has the size advantage, the reach advantage. Um, yeah, he has a 6-inch reach advantage, a 3-inch leg reach advantage, and a 6-inch height advantage. I think that that's just going to that coupled with his unique striking and his cardio. I think he's going to win rounds 2 and 3 and peacefully send Cejudo into retirement. And what's a good last scrap for Cejudo on the loss?
Wow. I mean, look, I'll be honest here. I believe the UFC, I believe Team Cejudo / Ali Abdelaziz set this fight up to do exactly what Roddy Barcelos did a few months ago. I actually think the UFC are made this fight because Talbot's a big, young, up and coming name that they could use versus Cejudo. But at the same time, it feels more of a sacrifice of Talbot to me. After what I saw a few months ago, there is no reason for me to take Talbot in this fight. As long as, now, sometimes some of these fighters' IQs, John Almeida, just really don't get it sometimes of how they should fight opponents. This one is very clear. You can strike a little bit with Talbot fine, just taking down consistently, and gold medalist Henry Cejudo will hold him there. I just don't think Talbot's had enough time uh, to get back up on the feet against a gold medalist like Cejudo, who's very good in those positions. Especially if he gets in the half guard, I think that's GG all day. Um, and Henry Cejudo plus this just reminds me so much of the Bo Nickel RDR fight The difference is, I feel like we did think Bo had a way better chance than I think we're even giving Talbot in this one. To be honest, like at the time, it felt like Bo was had a lot better of a chance than Talbot does coming into this. Because look, man, Henry is coming off fighting Song Yadong. Who is it? Song Yadong, and he was competitive in that fight. Song was definitely winning, but he was competitive out there. Like he wasn't just like I think getting destroyed out there. And Song Yadong's the number 5 guy. And then he should have beat Sterling if one judge knew how to score the 5th round. He would have won that split decision. And he would have been champ again, which is crazy to think about. I don't think he would have held onto the belt long. And he fought Merab decently, like for Merab standards.
Yes.
I just feel like it's his retirement fight, yes, but it's such a big step down in comp. And I like Payne Talbot. I think he's a very good prospect, but he's just way too early for this. Like, this is just RDR Bo Nickel vibes all over again. I honestly think Cejudo will run through Talbot as long as if he's sticking to the game plan, he will run through him. Honestly, I think he runs through him.
You think he finishes him?
He could, yeah. I could see it. I like Talbot, but like Barcelos just destroyed him like a few months ago, just through wrestling, and it's Cejudo, and like, yeah.
I think you made a good point, and Henry Cejudo definitely like I guess could win this fight. I'm gonna lean Talbot.
Oh
Just
my lord.
just on the whole, like, first of all, I do not like picking fighters during their retirement fights. Talbot just has so much more to gain here with a win, and losing to Henry Cejudo, like we said, he's a great fighter, Hall of Famer, and all that, but it's just would not be a good look right now, especially coming off that tough loss he just had. And unfortunately, I don't. Unfortunately for you, Nick, I don't think Henry is going to wrestle as much as you'd like him to. And Peyton's size and length is going to give him really big problems. And I think Talbot's going to win with a clean decision. Henry will have a fun retirement speech. He'll have some fun moments. It'll get violent, but I'm going to go Talbot by decision.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if he just wrestles the whole time, though, he wins this fight, right? Is basically what you're basically you're
Yes, yes,
gonna
I agree.
take Talbot, yeah. So you're taking Talbot, hoping that Ali Abdelaziz didn't set this whole fight up just for them to get a boring retirement by and just take out a young gun.
Is Ali that smart? Is he that locked in, Clark?
It seems like it. Like, why would they specifically pick Payne Talbot for a retirement fight, who's an unranked guy, and they are
I
number
think
10?
my thing is this, man. My thing is this. When has Cejudo like ever really like completely just like used his wrestling like Merab? Like we know his level is there, but he's way more like he uses the takedowns like so sparingly, I would say. Like only if he like really feels like he has to type shit. I kind of feel like he's definitely way more traditionally willing to strike than not. You know what I mean? It's not like he's like on some Marab shit trying to shoot the takedowns that often. You know what I mean? So it's like you have to believe that like for you to assume that he's just gonna all of a sudden in his retirement fight unlock his inner Khabib is crazy because so many of his fights he chooses to strike for large periods of time.
You should see a photo of these two next to each other. Like the size comparison, it's hilarious also.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I think he'll strike a little bit. Just literally, if they don't wrestle this fight, they are fools. They are absolute fools. He still might win that fight though if they strike, to be honest. But the, it's going to be way closer. Like they are fools if they don't wrestle. Straight up foolish behavior. I don't care if they want to put on an exciting last retirement fight. Just go out there and get the dub, bro, and just retire. Like, give me my money. Like, this is easy money here. If we do the right game plan, it's easy money. And I like Talbot, but it is. It just is.
Cejudo has not won a fight in 5 years, Clark.
Clark, I'm not gonna lie to you. If you bet on this man, you're going to have a bad night. You're going to be very disappointed with the game plan of this man.
Oh,
He'll put it in the parlay,
I
man.
will bet on them just like I bet on RDR beating Bo, and y'all said
Don't
this
put
stuff.
don't put on him in the big boy. I'm telling you, don't put him in the big
I
boy.
will, and he's gonna easily dub. As long as they're smart. Like if they're just gonna be stupid out there, then like sure, but I'm gonna assume they play this smart game plan.
I feel you.
Okay. Once again, shout out Triple C retirement fight. All right, guys. Last fight on the main card here, we got Jan Blachowicz versus Bogdan Guskov. Pretty much a pick'em fight. Guskov, the slight underdog. Pretty sure Blachowicz is like 42 or something like that. Polish power still in the UFC. Guskov's kind of on the come up right now. I've been impressed with him. What do you think about this opener?
I think Guskov recently he definitely he just knocked someone out. Who was it? Who was it? Oh, Nikita Krylov. He just knocked out Nikita Krylov.
Yeah.
He's showing to be one of these guys, man, an up and coming light heavyweight who has a lot more pop in his hands than he looks, man. I mean, he doesn't look like so super menacing in there, but like, damn it, is he deadly, man? Going up against an aging Jan. I mean, Jan hadn't fought for a long time after losing the split decision to Pereira in '03. And then he fought Olberg, who just beat him.
Close fight. It's close.
Oh, I mean, you know,
It was a terrible fight.
it was a terrible fight though. It was like shit though. He didn't look great in there. It didn't show me that much. I'm going to tentatively guess that Guskov just on, I think that like I don't see the hunger in Jan anymore, man. I think he's just like collecting paychecks these days. Not that I don't think he's gonna try to win. I just don't think that like he has the drive of an up and coming young killer. I think that light heavyweight needs, new prospects at the top of the division. And I'm just gonna assume that Bogdan can, either I think he's gonna probably finish Jan, to be honest, if I had to, gun to my head, but I think he's gonna find a power shot somewhere in there and finish him. But if not, I think he could also just like land the have more big moments in the fight, rock him a couple of times here or there, and get the UD. So I think it's a good scrap, but I'm gonna take Bogdan Guskov to have the mild upset as a slight underdog.
I agree. I'm also leaning Guskov. I think Jan is the more skilled fighter of the two overall game wise. And maybe path to victory for Jan in this fight could be finally wrestling. Like Cejudo, if you actually have a good game plan in these fights, you can win. And I do think that is a path for Jan in this fight, but he doesn't wrestle a lot. He's content with his striking, which is fine. It's just like at this point, the man's just too old. He's too old. I feel like time is catching up to him quick right now. And Guskov's been on a roll. Like, I'm surprised I'm seeing some YouTubers choose Jan. I mean, I kind of get why, but I feel like just off age and like how both, like, all the momentum's on Guskov's side right now, like coming into this fight. And so I gotta lean that way, especially he's like 12. This man's 32 or whatever, and he's still 10 years younger than Jan Blow. The man's done, bro. Once you pass 40 for me, you're off my list. Glover pulled a miracle out of his ass, but it's only, let's be for real, it's only because John left. Let's be for real. It's the only reason it happened.
Yeah, I agree.
But he's 42, man. I do think he's the more skilled fighter, though, I will say. But I think the power, youth, speed is going to be all on Guskov's side.
Yeah, I could. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I don't know if he finishes him because Jan is tough for the most part, even though he's been kind of old.
Yeah.
But some guys get knocked out sometimes, so I wouldn't be shocked. But it might get to decision, Loki.
Yeah, I like Jan, but I mean, come on, man. He's like 42. I could totally see him winning this fight just because he's like tricky. I could see him outpointing him, but like if he wins, it's probably going to be a shit fight. I want to see Guskov go in there and get a finish, man, or at least like drop and rock him. I totally feel like he has the ability, has the weapons. Just go for it, man. Try to take the old man out. But I have a weird feeling this fight might be like boring. Unfortunately, I don't know why.
I could see it,
I
honestly.
hate to say it,
I can see a staring match. Or either a staring match or a lot of clinch.
but we shall see. All right, though, guys, let's move on to the prelims, the last prelims of the ESPN era. I'll start us off really quick. Jalen Turner is making his return to the UFC after his short retirement. He retired back earlier this year. He is a minus 260 favorite against Edson Barbosa at lightweight. Welcome back, Jalen Turner. I think we all expected the retirement to not be permanent. Glad he's back. What are your guys' thoughts on the fight and his return?
I'm glad to see him back, man. I think he was just frustrated. Um, and for good reason, man. And for good reason. I think he was frustrated with himself. He's on a bit of a skid, bro. Moicano, who I thought he should dog walk, to be honest, going into that fight. And then Bahamundes subbed him up, and it's kind of just like, damn, like I see him. I understand why he might have just given up. Like, damn, maybe I just don't have it anymore. But I think he has life. Um, he's going up against the corpse of Edson Barbosa here. Prime to get a win. I think that Edson's cardio. He's like, I think he could put it on Turner for a couple minutes, maybe with the leg kicks, and round one, Edson is still, pretty explosive, but these days, his cardio gives out so quick. Everything he does, his whole game is predicated on being explosive. So there's not really much that he can do this late in the game to like fight a different style. Like Edson's gonna be Edson, he's gonna throw hard all the time, and that will gas him out. And I think after that, Jalen Turner should be able to have his way with him. Should be able to get a finish, I would say, even if he, depending on like, I don't know where his head's at, but any old prime version of Turner at his best would be able to finish this version of Edson Barbosa, I feel like. And or at least beat him up pretty bad. Rounds two and three at least. Um, so I'm excited to see him back in there. Shout out Edson Barbosa, still here, still fighting. No, I don't know if I don't know if I would say I don't know if I would consider Jalen Turner a up and coming prospect anymore, but like he's still a young big guy, dangerous guy in there, and Edson Barbosa like not taking any easy fights. So shout out to him, the legend man. Um, For Barbosa, this could be a retirement fight. I don't even know. Any fight could be a retirement fight for him at this stage in the game, but whether he decides to keep going on or decides to retire, I mean, I'm here for it either way. Um, like he deserves the right to keep going as long as he wants. But yeah, I think I'm excited to see Turner back in there, and I think he should get a dub here. Get his mind right. You know what I mean?
I think he finishes Barbosa, especially after what we saw live against we fight close. I think Jalen Turner should be able to tune him up on it. As long as he's on. I'd kind of assume he took time off to like improve his game, so I think he dubs here. I think he knocks him out, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. I think he'll get the finish here. I think the time off was going to be really good for him. I think he's done a lot of reflecting. So shout out Turner. He's always an exciting guy. Hopefully he maximizes his potential. Anything else, guys, on here?
Wait. Can we just
Boy,
address the fact that like do you guys think that the prelims are worse than the early prelims? Like they should literally be flipped around. Like I feel like
Let me see.
no. The early prelims stink compared.
I feel like Edson Barbosa, Jalen Turner, Vittori, Bruno Ferreira.
I like that Vittori fight, bro.
Like that Vittori fight's a banger. Like I feel like
I
why is Terrence McKinney, Chris Duncan so high, bro? Like I don't see why, bro. I don't,
that should be lower, but I
I don't
will
know.
say
I feel
like
like some of these fights are like flip flops.
I kind of feel you. I mean, look, I was about to say the Vittori fight. I'll be honest. I think Vittori is wilting day by day, and this man's about 2 seconds away from just getting mopped in the face and just falling down. Like
He'll
he is,
never be finished, Nick.
he's any moment about to crumble based on what I have seen lately of him. Jared Cannonier took his life 2 years ago away from him. He hasn't been the same since. And I think Bruno Pereira gets the job done. It's a tough call, I would say, just because Vittori is a little more experienced. But as long as Freya doesn't get taken down, I honestly don't think he's gonna get pieced up by Vittori. Vittori just hasn't improved his striking. So I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's okay. I mean, I think they're kind of banking on maybe Terrence McKinney like kind of just doing his thing and like fast starter and I get why. Didn't Chris Duncan have that crazy fight with like Rebecca or somebody
It's
in
always
the
about that.
co-main a few months ago?
Uh,
Yeah. He did. Like he. I mean that's like one of those like all action fights that pump the crowd up. I kind of
that
see that.
fight's gonna be insane. I fuck with the Dawson fight too against Torres.
No, that one
No, that's a good fight. That's a
I
quality fight.
I want to be confident in Grant. I really do, but man, that Bobby Green, oh sorry, King Green, that King Green knockout really is just
It does haunt the memories. That was one of the worst things I've ever seen in my
I
life.
was so big for Bobby Green, but like, but like
Sparked him
nothing
so
came of
quick.
it.
Sparked him so quick. Like it was so ridiculous.
A Also Macy Barber coming back after having that seizure, getting pulled from the main event the night of. So hopefully she has a good comeback, taking on Karina Silva.
very good odds. I actually think Macy Barber, as long as she looks the same, I think she runs over Corrine Silva.
What are the odds? I can't see them here.
She minus 180.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, I'm definitely laying on Barber.
Corrine Silva, don't sleep on her like she's a fucking walkover now, though. Come
I don't
on,
think she's a
we don't know.
walk.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's Macy Barber, but like, we can't just be like that should definitely be a fucking
She
win.
did just have like a heart attack, so
Yeah,
like,
I'm
I no,
saying,
and that's what I said. My caveat was if she shows up looking the same when because she hasn't fought in a while. Like I'm pretty sure it's been like close to 2 years, I believe. I mean, maybe she fought last year sometime, but I don't know. Karine Silva just did not impress me. Like she came off a loss and then she fought Diane Barboza for some reason. And we saw a live edge. She barely won that fight. She
it was
barely
terrible.
won that fight. And it seems like a big step up to go to Macy Barber now. And like, I just don't see it. I think Macy should win that fight in every area. I like Karine Silva, but she's
no,
got a little
Macy
more.
should win if she's like still the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys. For the last ESPN card, give me your fight of the night and performance of the night predictions.
Fight of the night. Oof. I'm gonna go Pantoja Van, man. I think that Pantoja Van, no matter what, I don't see either of them running over the other. So I think that's gonna be fight of the night, especially because they have like more time to make it a banger. If I had to pick another one that's not a title fight, I was gonna say Moreno Tyra. I see that being an absolute fucking banger too.
It's
No
gonna be a
matter
fun
what,
one.
it's gonna be all action. It's a performance of the night.
It's a tough one.
Give it to Jalen Turner, man. I think Jalen Turner could do a bad thing to Edson Barbosa in there.
I'm gonna duplicate your picks. Those are my picks too. So
Okay, I'm gonna do two fight of the nights.
Okay.
One being Pantoja Van, and
Yeah.
I the other. I do think for as long who knows how long. Ooh, I just saw one that interested me. Actually, my second one going to be Sadikov versus Ziam. I think that's a crazy fight. I think Ziam wins that, by the way, but I think that's a crazy fight.
I think whoever wins Terrence McKinney, Chris Duncan is gonna get a performance bonus, like a knockout bonus.
I was gonna say Duncan, but like I'm not confident he's gonna win.
I'm gonna go Duncan, but performance of the night, and I got two as well. And Henry Cejudo to absolutely dog walk
Mm.
Payne Talbot.
That is not,
Parker.
that is what's not happening,
I
Clark.
can't wait to talk about that fight after, bro. You're gonna be so like salty.
I'm
I'm
gonna
not.
harass. I'm gonna harass the shit out of you, Clark. I'm
I
just.
mean, look, if we're smart here in the Ali Abdelaziz world, in their corner with all those coaches, they should know what to do here. If they don't do it, then like I'm still I'm not accepting it. Like they gotta
I'm
fight the
not.
game plan.
I'm not even sure Henry Cejudo at this legend status of his even has win bonuses in his contract, bro. He might just be getting paid per appearance at this point, bro.
Okay, okay.
Triple C contract.
He's getting the performance bonus because it's gonna be a domination.
We'll
We
see.
will see, but yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. End of an era for the ESPN era, so shout out to that. Make sure to check out our TikTok and our other videos on the channel. Let us know your predictions in the comments, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Peace.
Peace.